Very first talk, March 18th, 2015, first International Day of Happiness talk was pre-COVID. We did in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then of course during COVID it stopped, and then we kind of modified it a little bit afterwards, due to whatever reasons. Here because I am retiring in May. I gotta give it one big talk again, and and hopefully people from the past will show up, and there are people from the past. It just touches my. I mean, there are people like 10, 12 years ago, something like that. I mean, that's awesome. Makes me happy. All that stuff. So I don't want to waste a lot of time talking about this stuff. We got to get into this because we got 90 minutes. I've got several lessons that I want to talk about, that things that have stood out to me over the past 13 years of teaching positive psychology. It has changed a lot in those 13 years. My teaching has changed a lot. I just think that the good life is something that we're all striving to achieve. And it's going to be a little different for everybody else. But what I want to promote first before I go into the talk, because I don't want to forget this. Tomorrow morning, or tomorrow at 12:30, my seminar class, I have a topical seminar on positive psychology. It's an advanced class that meets Tuesdays, Thursdays, 12:30, 1:45, is doing a happiness celebration in Sykes Ballroom A. If you want to stop by, swing by there. They're going to have about 8 tables of different events and activities and things that help spread joy and happiness and stuff like this. Stop by if you're available. I'll be there. They'll be there. We'll have some fun. So that's just a little reminder. Anybody's welcome to come. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I have to talk about what positive psychology is for those people who, I know there are some parents here and people who are not from my classes. So just positive psychology, and the definition has changed over the years. It started out as basic, simple science of happiness and well-being. And that's nice, and that's simple, and that's straightforward. But there's more to living the good life than just being happy. And so it has progressed, and then it came into one of the definitions that I really like is the scientific study of what is right in life and what makes life most worth living. So what that is now telling us is that we really need to focus on the good, not just everything that goes on throughout the day. Some people like to ruminate on the bad. But we need to focus on the good. What is right in life? And we'll touch on that as we move through the day. And then the latest definition that's out now, the scientific study of optimal human functioning. How can we perform at our best, both mentally and physically? Because we know there's whole body, mind-body connection. And if I feel poorly physically, it's going to affect my mental well-being. And if I feel poorly mentally, it's going to affect my physical well-being. So positive psychology is now rounded into this field that is, it's not just about your mental well-being, it's about your physical well-being, because they are so connected. So then let's talk about the good life. What is the good life? Well, freedom from suffering. Yeah, we don't want to suffer. We don't want any pain, whether it's physical pain or mental pain. We don't want to deal with pain. We do want to experience joy, happiness, connection, meaning, love. We're going to talk about all that good stuff today. That's what the good life is. However, everybody's good life is different. 100 or so people here today, there may be 100 different versions of the good life. It's going to be different. Part of my good life, and this is it, talking to you all, talking to my classes, teaching. But the biggest part of my good life, there we go, my wife, my dog, Pooh Bear. Those who have been in my class, they know Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear is very popular. I would love Pooh Bear to be here, but he would be going crazy. That wouldn't work. And then, of course, my wife and I, we like to golf. We like to go to, that's a picture in Hawaii, one on the far left, one of our favorite vacation resorts. But that is my good life. What is your good life? You got to figure that out. How are you going to live your good life if you don't know what it is? We need a plan. We need a map. We need goals. we got to figure out whether it's, over the next 60 days, the next year, 5 years, whatever that plan is, we have to start figuring out because it's like being a ship in the ocean. You're not just going to go, okay, we're out here. We're just going to let the wind take us and let the tide take us and go wherever. You got to make a plan. You got to have a plan of action. So your good life can change over time. Like I said, now, the big part of my good life is teaching here at West Chester University. In 2 months, it's going to be completely different. And like I talked about with some of my current students and all, that good life is going to be beach, golfing. I don't know what else. Chilling at the pool, just relaxing. And probably at some point there will be some sharing of my positive psych stuff. Maybe I've done videos, YouTube videos in the past, previously to teaching here. I did a podcast well before teaching here, before podcasts were even called podcasts. It was internet radio back then. I did do a little podcast over the COVID area because I felt like maybe spreading some happiness through a podcast will be beneficial for some people. So, as I get tired of golfing 4, 5, 6 days a week, going to the beach every day, swimming in the pool, having a tasty beverage of water, once in a while, I may have to do something to help keep this positive psyche and the messages of the good life going. But y'all need to start thinking about this, what your good life is. So what we're going to do here, it took me a while to figure this out. Like, I've done talks in the past about, how many tools for living the good life or happiness and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I got to narrow it down and make it something that was impactful to me. So I've got my top lessons here. And the first one, I'm so different. AI, awesome, man. Other people matter. So this guy here, Chris Peterson, no longer with us, but he was one of the beginning people in the field of positive psychology. And someone that when I listened to him, learned from him, I was like, this guy gets it. And I really got connected with positive psychology through his teachings. And he said, if I could describe positive psychology, if you don't have time for workshops and lectures and all that stuff, 3 words: other people matter. End of story. Other people matter. And this diagram kind of summarizes it. It's all about connection with people. It's all about service, which is people. And it's all about compassion, people. So it all has to do with people and people. We all matter. Every single person here matters. So let's talk about the first part here. These are some pictures of my seminar classes in the past. Relationships. One of the key ingredients to living a good life is called positive interpersonal relationships. And a positive interpersonal relationship is someone where you can go to and talk to about anything, good or bad. We don't want to just talk about the bad and be like, have someone to communicate with, to feel, get empathy from, get a shoulder to cry on. But when you have something good to share, you want to let it out. And the way that the person communicates with you is critical to the depth of your relationship. If they're like, congratulations, good job, I'm in the middle of a video game, that's not a positive interpersonal relationship. If they put that tech down or turn the TV off and all that kind of stuff and like, congratulations, awesome, tell me all about it, you deserve that, and you're engaged, like, oh, we need to celebrate. That's a positive interpersonal relationship. That relationship is going to thrive. That is going to help you flourish and thrive. So I'll talk about one little thing about connection here. This Harvard study on adult development. It's over 85 years now. They've had multiple people directing the study. They studied the rich students that went to Harvard, and they studied the poorest of poor in the Boston area. And they followed them for their entire life. And now they're following their spouses, and now they're following, well, actually, their kids at this point. Because some of these people, obviously, they're going to be over 100, so they're gone. But they continued the study. And it didn't matter whether you were the richest rich or the poorest of poor. The thing that led to them living the good life were relationships, were having positive interpersonal relationships. It was the types of relationships you had at midlife, 45, 50, that was more important to determining your happiness and your length of living, your lifespan, than your cholesterol score, than your EKG, all these things. It was the quality relationships that you had. And they showed, because they were able to go back when people lived 80 years old, 90 years old, and go back because they studied them every 2 years. They had medical doctors go in. They did interviews. They videoed interviews with them. They had them answer questionnaires. And they were able to go back and say, okay, if we look at this data, can we predict those who are going to be living happier and healthier at age 80 and beyond? And it was those people who had quality relationships in midlife that lived longer, lived healthier. And when they had pain, because we're going to have pain as we get older. I don't know anybody that's older, I'm not going to say a number. Anybody that's older that doesn't have any kind of pain. But when you have that pain, you're not going to be ruminating on it, because if you are lonely, what else are you going to do? You're going to complain about the pain. You're going to be like, oh my God, this hurts. My back hurts. This hurts. Some special people just came in. Come on down. And you're not going to be complaining about the pain. But when you're lonely, you are. But that's all you have. When you have positive interpersonal relationships, and when you have connections, you don't just focus on the pain, you focus on the relationship, and they're there for you. And it takes away that focus on the pain. And these people actually feel physically better. So the importance of relationships, that's why I say to my students, especially like the fall semester, when I have a lot of first-year students, I'm like, you got to get involved. You got to get connected. You got to get involved in a club, a group, a team, an organization. I don't care what you do. Find a bunch of friends. I don't care what it is. You don't have to do anything formal. You got to be connected. Because we know that those who are connected are happier. Those who are happier do better in school. Those who do better in school stay in school. And they get the degree that they came here for. And then that transforms into relationships that you've made and you keep your entire life. So we can't do it alone. It's a team sport. We need other people. I need other people. I need other people to help me with this talk. So I'm going to invite Tatum up, one of my students who've taken both my positive psych class, come on up, and my seminar class in positive psychology. And she's going to talk about connection. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you live a good life? The answer for me is simple. I spend time with the people I love and tell them and show them how much I love them sincerely and often. Hi, my name is Tatum Williams. I'm a senior here at Westchester. I've taken 2 courses in positive psychology with Mr. Yu, so when he asked me to speak today, I was thrilled to be able to share my perspective. Throughout my life, but especially my time in college, I've realized the most special part of living is loving and being loved. Through the courses I've taken here at Westchester, I've been able to critically and analytically examine this perspective. Positive psychology introduced me to a simple yet invaluable phrase related to my perspective on the good life. This phrase is other people matter. It may sound obvious, but when you stop to think about it, you may realize you often neglect this crucial piece of human life and interaction. This simple phrase has 2 important parts: positive interpersonal relationships and helping others. Life is undeniably short, so we ought to live it the best we can while we are here. I choose to live the good life daily by intentionally telling people I love them. I never leave a conversation without saying those three simple words. However, I'm not naive to the fact that actions often speak louder than words. So, as much as I say I love you, I also make an active and sincere effort to prove it to those close to me. A sticky note message on my roommate's door when she's having a bad day, a Venmo for coffee to my boyfriend at school in Virginia, a text to my mom letting her know how thankful I am for everything she does for me each day, reading the articles my dad sends me, even if they're 10 pages long, and letting my sister borrow my shirt, even though I'm positive it will be returned with a stain. These things may sound like small and insignificant moments, but to the people in my life, they mean more than that. While I may receive a shirt back from my sister with remnants of her coffee on it, spend more time than I'd like reading about fossils, or lose $10 to that Venmo, what I gain from these experiences is worth more than any amount of time or money. It was never really about the clothing, the text, the money, the article, or the note. What it's truly about is connection and love. Showing others you care doesn't just impact their day, it can impact yours too. Watching the people I love light up makes me happier than anything else in this world. I believe that if more people focused on this, the world might be a little bit brighter. It doesn't have to only have to impact the people you know and love, though. It can also impact a stranger in passing or someone in need. Helping others, the second part of other people matter. Just as being intentional with the people you love can make you happy. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Helping others you don't know can change your life too. This semester, I've had the opportunity to intern at a grief center for children and families called A Haven. This experience has been so fulfilling, and each child I talk to or parent I see smile makes my day better. Knowing that my presence and listening ear has made an impact on a child's grief process makes me very happy. Each week, I leave that space feeling much better than I walked in, knowing that I made an impact on someone else's life. Helping others doesn't have to mean a weekly commitment, though. It can be even smaller than that and still have a positive effect on your life and someone else's. Leaving a note of encouragement on a colleague's desk, complimenting the work of a strong student, or smiling extra big at a stranger in passing. These are all small ways you can help others in your daily life. Again, they may seem small and insignificant, but even these moments can have a huge impact on someone else's life. Whether it's being extra intentional with the people you love, or smiling extra big at that stranger, implementing these small moments into your everyday life can change the way you and the people around you feel. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
So Tatum talked about leaving these notes and things like this, and my evening seminar class that goes Monday, Wednesday, from 4:25 to 5:40. Tonight, what we did was we did some positive psychology and action things where they made a bunch of positive notes, sticky notes and things, and we're spreading them around campus. And I saw them as I was walking around the buildings and stuff. And to tell you that these things work, I'll give you time. I'll give you two quick stories. One, I showed up here, and I've got notes here. Good luck on your speech, Mr. Yu. You're going to do amazing. You have brightened so many lives at WCU. And I walk in there and just like, it makes it worth it. It's like you're hitting the message home to these people, and they get it. So that's one little quick story. Another one is from Random Acts of Kindness Day on February 17th. My one of my seminars, but the day one, they did this type of thing on that day too. We just did some kindness things, walking around campus, handing out notes, kind notes to people and stuff. And you never know what kind of impact it's going to have. And then 2 days later, right before that class started, I got an email from someone who got one of those notes, who was a former student of mine, who said that message, and I wish I remembered what it was because I wasn't planning on talking about it. That message hit home. I think it said something about, it was for you, right, Natalie?
It said you're right where you need to be.
You're right where you need to be. Do you want to impromptu say why?
So I had to take some time off from undergrad because of health reasons. So I graduated, or I'm graduating a bit later than my peers, and I've kind of always had a bit of self-doubt, a little hit to the confidence. But I had just gotten accepted into Westchester's mental health counseling graduate program, and somebody handed me that note, and honestly, I cried when I opened it, and I still cry when I think about it. So whoever it was, it really made a difference.
Yeah. And I saw her email and I was like, I have to read this to my class, the ones who did it. And, the student who was like, I remember writing that message, and I don't think she's here, but, she cried then. And it's just like, this is what it's all about. It's not so much about the lecture and writing little notes down and taking quizzes and all that crap. Yeah, I mean, I have to do it, but it's about the lessons that we're learning and that we're spreading and passing on, because it's very impactful. It's changing people's lives for the good. That's what it's all about. So other part of the connection is we can't do it alone, gang. When we say other people matter and we say we need to connect, there are times when we're going to be dealing with some stuff, some major stuff. And Helen Keller said it great. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. We need to reach out. We need to reach out to a friend, that positive interpersonal relationship, a counselor, a therapist, because it's hard. Life is hard. I don't know if anybody's figured that out yet. Life is hard. You ever have an easy life here? Yeah, Riley. You're in my class now. Oh. -10. No. Life is not easy. So we need to connect with people. We need to reach out and go to a therapist. Go to a friend. Go to your parents. Go to someone, because we need that social support. And even if we are an introvert, I say it all the time, and this is 100% true. I am an introvert. I have extrovert tendencies. I can do this. But if this was a party and I didn't know you all, guess what? I would be hiding in a room somewhere else. I would not be talking. My wife knows. I do not like meeting new people. But if it's a room full of people who want to talk about positive psychology, okay, I'm in. I can do that. I can force myself to do that and get comfortable. But even as an introvert, you can't do it alone. You need to have connections, family, friends. I mean, everybody here, it's just the support, it's just amazing. So if you need help, well, someone. And I'm the first resource. Everybody here knows who I am now. Many of these people either are or were students of mine. I tell them, once you're a student of mine, you're a student of mine for life. Reach out to me. I don't care if I'm retired. You can get my personal email and reach out. You can find me somewhere. I'm out there. And whether it's a phone call or a cup of coffee or whatever, I'm there to help them. And it's important. So then we get to the second point, the point that Taylor was talking about, service. So other people matter, connection, service. These were the two big points that I hammered home in the beginning years. And Chris Peterson said, hey, one surefire way to increase your happiness, go increase somebody else's happiness. Go do something for someone else. Because you put a smile on their face and you make them feel good, you're going to feel good. How many times have you ever helped someone put a smile on their face and be like, oh, shit. And I made them smile. I'm sad now. No. You're like, you feel good inside. It may not change your life, but you do it enough. And depending on the depth of that service, it's going to impact you even more. So self-care is great. And we will talk about the importance of self-care. Other care is more important. Because there are people out there, we need it. And it's a great thing is that it's a ripple effect. You do something kind for someone and they feel the benefit of it. When they see the opportunity to do something kind, they're going to do it. Because it's like, that just made me feel good. So maybe I'll do it for someone else. And then we get this snowball effect. And I don't know if you all know, our world needs it right now. We need it. And we need it big time. And this is the third part that I've been talking about recently, is the compassion. And this is what we really need. More compassion in our world, more kindness. I mean, all these different religions all talk about the golden rule, doing unto others as you would like done unto you. Yeah, we need that. We need to be think about what actions we're doing, how it's affecting other people. Is it positively affecting them, or is it negatively affecting them? And if it's negatively affecting them, we need to do something different. We need to do something that we got to be looking out for our neighbors, our friends, our family. But compassion starts inside. We're born, the Dalai Lama, I like the Dalai Lama. He's like, says, we're born with compassion. We are born with compassion. But what happens over life? Life happens. Life happens. And that takes me to my second lesson. That was a lot for one lesson. Now we got 6 more to go. All right. Mindset. Sometimes I like to talk. I'll speed it up. Mindset matters. And there's so much to the mindset thing. And this concept here, this is one of my favorite quotes. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. How are you going to react to the good? How are you going to react to the bad? Are you going to be like, oh, woe is me? And just curl up and give up? Or are you going to be like, no, this is a setback, but I'm going to find a way. And it's up to us to have that mind. And it's okay when something bad happens to be upset and to be sad. But we can't live in that forever. We got to figure a way around it. And we got to bounce back. And we're going to talk about some ways to do it. And the one way of doing this is being the narrator of our life, being the author of our life. And one of the quotes I see in one of my videos is a thing the woman says, if life were a book and you were the author, how would you like your story to go? Write your story. And when stuff happens, we need to rewrite the story because stuff is going to happen. Life doesn't go perfectly as planned. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And one of the things in one of my seminar classes from, I think the first one we did, she's not here, but she's in Hawaii. I can't make your talk, Mr. Yu, I'm in Hawaii. Whatever. She walked in the first day, she's like, hey, Mr. Yu, I don't have to take this class, I get to take this class. And she understood that I don't have to do these things, I get to do these things. So if we reframe it to I don't have to, I get to do these things. And we talk about how life, things happen for us because they shape who we are. Then we can change our story, change our narrative, and live a better life. And my second and last guest, Russell, is going to talk about this. He's got some good stuff, Russell.
Hello, everybody. All right, sometimes I feel like I'm like by myself in the room. I'll try to make sure, but I'm like a very interactive speaker, so I like to see people. I like to hear what they think, things like that. So raise your hand if sometimes when something bad happens to you, you kind of go into the negative. So everybody. And I always think of this meme. Some of you guys might have seen it. It's like my mom didn't raise a critter, but she raised a complainer. So like, even if I'm doing something I don't like, you're gonna hear me say I don't like it, but it's gonna get done. So through Mr. Yu's class, and I've taken both of his classes. I am a psychology major and I graduate in May. But through both of his classes, I've learned a lot about reframing. And I do something called looking for the lesson. So when something happens to you, you tend to look or feel like, oh my God, why did this happen to me? Why is this going for me? Why is the world against me? And I used to think that way a lot. And sometimes I still do. I'm not perfect. So I wish that I could always be like, that doesn't happen to me anymore. But that's not true. But I've started to kind of reframe the way that I think. For instance, I was planning this event and I planned it for 6 months. 6 months of my life, I was sending emails, I was meeting with people, I was researching, and the event fell through. And at first, I was so angry. Why did this happen? I spent so much time, I spent so much energy, I was running back and forth, and I couldn't figure it out. And I had to sit there and I took a second, stepped back, said, look for the lesson. What was life trying to show me in this moment? And for me, it was telling me you need to take a step back. You're doing too much. It's gonna wreck your body. It's gonna just like tire you out. And while I'm still upset that it didn't get to go through, I think I'm more grateful for the fact that had it gone through, I think I would have just worn myself out. Be as happy and cheerful as I am right now. So that's just one example of looking for the lesson. There's always going to be things that happen to you in your life, no matter how successful you may be, no matter how many dreams you may occur. There's going to be something that happens, and you're going to feel in that moment that it is going to happens against you. It's your enemy. That some people, if you're religious, will say the devil. Some people will say it's just bad karma, whatever the case. And I don't believe that because there's always a reason for something. There's a path in life you're going to take, and what seems like a closed door is really just an opportunity that wasn't made. So when you are in that headspace where you're thinking, I can't do it. Why is this happening to me? Why is this against me? Just sit there and realize there's a lesson involved. And maybe if you take a second, breathe, come back to it, sip some water, rest a little bit, think about it and be like, okay, what had happened had I gone through with this? What would have changed? What is going on right now that allowed me not to do it? Maybe it wasn't my time. Maybe I have something bigger in store. Maybe there's a whole shift into my life that I'm just not seeing. So from now on, and I know that's going to be difficult, and no, that's real easy for me to say up here, but from now on, when something negative happens to you, take a second. Separate yourself from the situation. And then think about it. Why did this happen? What is going on that is so big that I couldn't do this, or this didn't go through, or I didn't go here? What's going to be the next part of my life that needs all this attention? And I think that just helps you like regulate and just calm down and feel and think, you know, I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad this door closed because so many other opportunities are over here. And I would have never done that had I done this. So yeah, I know that wasn't 5 minutes for that. I apologize, but I really do hope you take from what I just said. And thank you so much for your time.
So that makes me think of a couple of acronyms that we talk about in class that I know some people out here are going to remember. So I'm not even going to give the answer. I'm going to ask you, what does no? What's the acronym for no? Students.
It's an opportunity.
There you go. Next opportunity. Someone says no, it's like, okay, next opportunity. What this, as Russ said, this didn't work out. What's the next opportunity? Something else is going to happen. And there are going to be times where we're not successful at stuff and we fail. But we don't fail. What's the acronym for fail?
First attempt in learning.
There you go. From the back. First attempt in learning. I learned this didn't work. I'm going to try something different. And as I said in class, when I was a college student at Shippensburg University, or actually it was Shippensburg State College. Dating myself. I failed. I failed out of college twice. But I learned that going to frat parties Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night didn't help getting good grades. I learned that we didn't have video games back then. Playing backgammon instead of going to class isn't going to help you get good grades. But I also learned having the wrong major isn't going to help me get good grades. I was a business major. I had 3 different business management, management science, marketing. And then ultimately my 4th semester was math. I had 4 majors in 4 semesters. Not until I found exercise science did I, That's how I found that field. That I go from being a bad student to being very passionate about what I learned. And it gave me the opportunity to learn. I failed, but I learned this isn't happen. And this was. And then, 40 years later, still in the industry, still doing stuff. Because I found what I was passionate about. I learned, hey, this doesn't work, something else is gonna work. Oh yeah, I don't know who that person is, but I know from Inside Out, right? Yeah. Accept painful emotions as part of this mindset thing. We are supposed to feel negative emotions. Actually, in my class today, we were talking about this. Life happens. You lose loved ones. Guess what? You're supposed to be sad. It's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be pissed. Don't hurt people. Don't hurt yourself. But feel that emotion. And then figure a way to start feeling better. Because we don't want to live, as we talk in my class, south of neutral, which is sad, angry, upset, depressed, all that stuff. We don't want to stay down there. But we can stay there when we're being true to our emotions. And then when the time is right, and we have these tools, utilize these lessons that we're learning, then we can build ourselves back to where we should be, where we want to be, and that type of stuff. But don't ignore your negative emotions. If you're upset, be upset. And let people know why. Share it. Don't bottle it up. We bottle it up. If you got a bottle and you just keep filling negative emotions, you can't put any more in there, it's going to explode. Then you go really south. So we got to let it out. More on the mindset there. Growth mindset, hope and optimism. Hope and optimism is a character strength. We'll talk about that a little bit. But we need hope for those times when we're feeling down. We need hope that we can get better, that we can feel better, that someone is there for us, that we will start feeling north of neutral again. We need to be optimistic that it will happen. We need to be optimistic that this event is going to be really good. We need to be optimistic that we are going to live our good life. And how are we going to live our good life? We're going to plan. And that growth mindset thing, I can talk a whole day on that, but the growth mindset compared to a fixed mindset says, I failed. I'll go to myself as a Shippensburg student. I'm a stupid student. Why should I continue to go to school? I'm a failure. Failed twice. Went from a 1.86 to 1.8 to 1.6 GPA. But if I say I'm not a good student yet, change the whole vibe. I'm not a good student says that's the end of the story. I'm done. If I say I'm not a good student yet, well, that means there's hope that I can be, and I'm optimistic that I can be. If I find that right field to study, I can do it. And it doesn't matter what it is, if it's an activity, musical instruments, creative stuff, classes. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math yet. I'm not good at English. I ain't no good at English yet. But I'm gonna get there. Whatever it is, you just didn't have the right opportunity. And if you don't put the time and effort in, you're not going to see it. So our thoughts are so important. It's all about that 90%. How do we respond to the situation? And the studies have shown over and over and over again, those who have hope and optimism towards their top strengths are the ones that live their best life, are living a satisfied life north of neutral and continue to stay up there. Because when you're living an optimistic life, you know that when stuff happens, you're going to get past it. And it's like Russ was saying, the door closed. Damn, you're going to be upset. That's okay. But I'm optimistic another door is going to open. I'm optimistic that something good is going to happen. So we need to really focus on being hopeful and optimistic and saying, you know what? I may not be good at this yet, but if I put the time and effort in, I will be. I will be. And those of you who are taking tough classes, tougher than Psych 200, if you get the right situation, maybe the right tutor or the right prop or the right study group, you can make it better. The right mindset that you can, not just accept failure, accept the fact that, you know what, if I put time and effort and I get the right situation, I can do better. Okay, we need to move on. Self-care. Yes. We said other care is important, more important than self-care. Well, we need self-care in order to do other care. And self-care can look different for everybody. Some people will be exercising, sleeping, proper nutrition, having some downtime, having some tech-free time, having time where you're not connected to that device, where every time it dings, you have to be like, oh. In the middle of a conversation, ding, oh. It's rude. We need that silence. Do not disturb, whatever. Downtime. Downtime could be, you know, hot bubble baths. Whatever it is, we need to re-energize ourselves because, like it says there, you can't pour from an empty cup. So what is it that you like to do? And again, 100 people here or so, there could be 100 different ways of refilling your cup. But you got to know what that is. It could be sometimes just chilling at night and watching something silly, fun. It could just be reading a book. It could be just conversation. But we got to figure out, what do I do to refill my cup? What am I going to do when I'm feeling stressed? Because I need to take care of myself. And y'all need to take care of yourself. Because if I fill my cup up, then I can, student needs something, then I feel energized enough to be able to help them. I'm not worn out. Okay, on to the third one. This one's a big one too. Being engaged with life. So what way, and this goes with this thing, what is right in life instead of what is wrong. Focusing on good instead of bad. Like this awesome cartoon of this kid with 90% of the cake. And he's sad because there's a piece missing. And this other kid's got one little tiny slice and he's excited, he's happy. Focus on what's right, not just what's wrong. You focus on, the kid on the bottom, you focus on that you got, 9 slices of cake or whatever that is. That's more than enough. Well, too many times we focus on the bad. You might have had a fantastic day. And then at the end of the day, you get, you see something on social media, it's like, oh man, these people were going out, they didn't invite me. And you're all bummed, or you see, you get a bad grade in a class and like, oh man, and you just get your whole day ruined and you just ruminate on that. But you had like 10, 12 good things happen that day. But you're like, oh, this one little bad thing is just like, oh, this day sucks. Oh, focus on the good. Understand the bad. Don't ruminate on it. Understand the bad. If it's something that needs to be addressed, address it. But focus on the good. What is right? What is right? So we have this stuff here. There's a lot to talk about. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but let's go along with the top slide, or the mindfulness, gratitude, savoring. Being engaged with life is being mindful, being present, being grateful for. If you're not grateful for what you have in life, then you're not paying attention. Because as I look around this classroom or this room, whatever this is, everybody here has clothes on. Grateful for that. Thank you. You be grateful for that. Everybody here woke up this morning. You be grateful for that. There's some people that went to bed last night that didn't wake up today. Amen. But we did. We can be grateful for that. Was it 6 years ago, pre-spring break? I tell my students when we cover the gratitude stuff, y'all need to be very grateful for your time here at Westchester University. You need to be grateful for the clubs that you're involved in, your organizations, all this stuff. Being a college student is phenomenal. This is some of the best time of your life. You do have responsibilities, but you also have a lot of freedom. I'm like, you've got to pay attention. You've got to savor this time. You've got to savor this moment because this is some of the best time of your life. And as college students, they're like, yeah, okay. Most of them. Some will get, I mean, there are good students that are like, yes, I get it, Mr. You. But then we went away on spring break and we didn't come back because of COVID. And then we had like 2 weeks to prepare. And then we had our first Zoom class. And my students were like, oh my God, Mr. You're so right. I'm not going to see my sorority sisters. I'm not going to see my whatever friends, my team. I can't, we're not having graduation. You were so right. I just took it for granted. We can't take life for granted. We can't take all the good we have in our life for granted. You have to pay attention. Be mindful of what is going on in our life. Savor it, because when we savor it, it lasts longer. The good vibes from it last longer. And then when we express our gratitude, whether you do a written journal or you verbalize it, or you can just say it in your head, I'm so grateful for this opportunity and all this stuff, then that makes the good vibes last longer. That makes us appreciate that, because we have our happiness will fluctuate. It's called hedonic adaptation. And to keep that adaptation from happening, from going down, bringing our happiness level down, if we savor these good times, if we are grateful for this, it keeps that from dwindling. This semester, every moment I'm savoring. Every moment I'm so into my classes. And they do get bummed when we get a thunderstorm warning and we have classes canceled. I only have 2 classes on Monday. They're both after 3. And they were canceled. And I was very bummed. It's like, oh, come on, I want to teach. I want to be with my students. I'm trying to savor it. Flo. You sell some good car insurance. I mean, they have a great Progressive, I'm telling you. Now, Flo is being in the zone. Yeah, we've heard about being in the zone, athletes and all that kind of stuff, but we can get into flow with lots of different things, from reading, from writing, playing musical instruments, to talking, to sports, all that kind of stuff. And the beauty of flow is that when we get into that state, it's exhilarating. It's very intrinsically rewarding. Time flies by. It helps us sleep better at night. It improves our immune system functioning. It's exhilarating. And it helps us live a good life. People who get in flow on a regular basis are happier. So it's like, well, when's the last time you got into flow? When's the last time you got into the zone? When's the last time you did something where you just totally got lost into it? Well, many times it's like, oh yeah, I used to do that, and I used, well, do it again. Why not? Why not do things that we enjoy? Finding your passion. You're going to get into flow on things that you're passionate about. We need to have things that we're passionate about. We can't just get through day-to-day life and just go with the flow. I need to do things that I'm passionate about. You need to do things you're passionate about. You will get into this flow state. You can't force flow. You can't guarantee that it's going to happen every time you do something that you've got into flow before. But if you do these activities, you've got a chance. And all this has to do with being aware and not just letting life go by. What we need to do is have this thing tucked away and not disturb us, not distract us. We talk in my class, we have we pods. WE dash pods. And we talk about the old days of an iPod, that this thing distracts the hell out of us. Games, phone, texts, all kinds of alerts. And it takes away from us. So we get into WePods on a regular basis, almost every class. And it's like, okay, this is take free time, people. You actually look at your people's face and talk to them. And I give them prompts to talk about. What are you grateful for? What good has happened since the last time you had class? Whatever it is. A lot of times it's going to be with the theme of the classes that day. But it's like, talk to these people. Be connected to these people. Because we can guarantee these people are going to be here. And you just feel like crap. You get the opportunity to talk to someone, you're too busy doing this shit, and then the next day, they're not here. I was going to say something, but I can't, so I'm going to accept it. Let's move on. We're good. You and your actions matter. Guess what, gang? You matter. Every single person here matters. I show a video in class of a kid who was going to, it's a true story. The kid was going to commit suicide, but his dad came home that day because of something that happened at work and all that stuff. And said to his kid, "You know what, son? I don't tell you enough that you're important and that you matter to me. You're the most important person. You and your mom, most important people to me, and you matter. You make a difference in our lives. I just want to let you know that I love you and I care about you." The kid's like, he started bawling. He's like, I was going to commit suicide tonight. There's a gun upstairs. There's a note upstairs. I'm not going to need it anymore. And I'm like, okay, gang. Are we not telling people in our life that we love them? Or as parents, now, most of y'all are young, you're not parents. Are we not telling our kids we love them? That they're important to us? I tell my class that I love them, that they're important to me, that every one of them matters. Well, I'm not the parent, and not me, it's not going to mean as much. Every life matters. And you do matter. And you need to know that you are loved, that you are cared about, and that you make a difference. And being around here, I don't care who you are. Like I said, once you're a student of mine, you're a student of mine for life. If you're feeling bad, feeling down, reach out because you matter. You are important. You are a human being. You are a life. And we need good people. And we need to make sure there's heading. Okay, let's get off that sadness stuff. Let's talk about this. Randy Pausch. Some people have heard of Randy Pausch. He's no longer with us. He taught at Stanford. He has a book called The Last Lecture. He died of cancer. And in his book, he has this awesome quote, and it says, it is not the things we do in life that we regret on our deathbed, it is the things we do not. Too many times we're like, nah, I may fail. I don't want to try that. It's hard. I put myself out there. I'm vulnerable. You're going to regret it. I would rather do and fail than not do it. And have that thought, like, I wonder if I could have done this. I wonder if I could have. We need to take these chances, put ourselves out there, because guess what? We are resilient beings, and if we don't succeed, it bounce back. And like I said before, we learn. Okay. I tried this, it didn't work. I'll try something else. I'll try it another way. I'll keep trying. But we need to do. I'm not gonna go with the whole Yoda do or do not. There is no try. Do. Do. Give it a shot. Worst thing that can happen is you're back where you are now. And at least you'll know, hey, I tried. I gave it my best. Or you know, this didn't work. I'm gonna try something else. Maybe someone else out there can help. Lesson number 5. Seek pleasant experiences. Seek pleasant experiences. So this diagram here says happiness comes from experiences, not from material things. Joy from these material things, like this remote clicker, is awesome. It helps me walk around. I have to stand at that computer. But it's not changing my life. But experiences, when you have an experience and you have something to look forward to, that anticipation brings about pleasure. Like we talked about, okay, spring break. Prior to spring break, what did you have to look forward to? Some people went away. Someone told me yesterday, or whatever, they were in Spain over spring break. You have that anticipation of that event. Then you have that actual event that you can be hopefully mindful about, and you're savoring it and you're grateful for it. And you have all that joy during that time. Then afterwards, you have all the memories. And nowadays with the phones, you have pictures, videos that are like at the snap of your finger. And sorry, dear, I don't remember every gift she gave me for Christmas. I didn't remember it that week, man. We trying to think like. But when we do things together, you remember that. You remember these experiences. And one of my favorite experiences recently was her 30th birthday celebration.
I was there.
So for her special birthday, we wanted to do something special. And I'm gonna talk my whole family into this because she was trying to figure out what the heck she wanted to do, because the year before was my 30th birthday. And we did something special that I probably shouldn't talk about on campus. So we'll talk about hers. It was the best week, one besides my honeymoon. It was the best week of my life. Well, maybe. So she didn't know. She's like, I need to have something good like you did and all that stuff. And we were out to dinner with my family, my sister and her husband and kids, and they're talking about Taylor Swift concert. And my wife's like, I want to see the Taylor Swift movie, and Steve doesn't want to go. And the girls were like, we'll go. And I was like, I'll go too. You know, I don't want to be left out. So we go to this movie in King of Prussia, and we had a blast. Girls had a blast. This girl had a blast. And all of a sudden, she became like a Swiftie, the oldest Swiftie that's out there. All I hear from that point forward on the radio is Taylor Swift music. Album after album after album. And she's like, well, I want to go to that concert. I have to go to that concert, the Eras Tour concert. And I was like, well, where are we going to go? You can't get tickets and all that stuff. Well, we found tickets in Toronto over like Thanksgiving break. And we went. And I have a video. I'm not going to show it. But the moment the clock, how many people here went to the Eras Tour concert? A handful, my goodness. When the clock's ticking down, the Taylor's coming out. I have my camera, video, and my wife over here. And when Taylor comes out, and I'm gonna embarrass you, she was crying. And I'm like, "Sweet girl." What talk about in this room stays in this room. And she was just so happy, and the joy I got from her being happy was like I couldn't put a price tag on it. And that experience, you know, because now there's the videos, the documentaries, the movie of it, and all that stuff, and we could watch and be like, we were there and all that stuff. And she was like, "You would have regretted it if we didn't do it. Take that risk, take that chance, that money, whatever it is, for that experience. That's better than if I gave her a, you know, like a $10,000 tennis. What do you call those things? You probably would like that concert more than the bracelet, right? Absolutely. There you go. Thank you. So I take the experiences back to college experience. Those of you who are still here, this is an experience. Savor it. Be grateful for it. You're not gonna have this again. Even if you come back to school, it's not gonna be the same if you come back 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's not the same experience as if you were in your 20s and doing this type of stuff. So when it comes time to celebrate special moments with people, experiences trump. Don't say that word. Experiences override material things, because material things grow old and stuff. And it's like this thing. This was great the day I bought it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm able to walk around. Like, and now it's just like all that stuff. But the memories, I still can, you know, she'll still tear up. I will still tear up thinking about that. And there's other things too. I mean, it's not just major things like that. I tell people when in my classes and when I used to do life coaching before teaching, I'd say always have something to look forward to. Always have an experience to look forward to. I don't care if it's a date. I don't care if it's going to a movie, going to a show. Something, have some experience to look forward to, because you have that anticipation, you have that moment, being present, being mindful, and then you have that memory. And that's phenomenal. All right, number 6. Doing good. Oops. Yep. Number 6, use your strengths. All right, so this is something that I could spend a lot of time on. I'm not. Y'all aren't here for this. But there is a thing out there in the positive psych world called your character strengths, which everybody here has the same 24 character strengths. There's only 24 character strengths. Everybody in the world has the same 24 character strengths. They studied this for 4 years before they put this out in 2004. And Chris Peterson was one of them, and the president of positive psychology back then, Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, they put it together. And we all have these 24, but our order is different. And what makes us unique is that difference. My top 5, gratitude, hope, humor, love, zest, are what make me who I am. And I use them on a regular basis. And when I use them on a regular basis, and when you use your top 5, you don't even know what your 5, well, half the people don't know what their strengths are here. But when you use those strengths on a regular basis, you're happier. You accomplish your goals faster. They're easier. It's like, okay, I've got this task to tackle. Which of my strengths could I use to attack this goal? And then you use one of those strengths. You use 2 of them, whatever. And then when you use your strengths on a regular basis, you go further north of neutral. When you use them in different, odd, unique ways, you're even happier. And in the world of positive psychotherapy, the therapist will help the patient. It's like, okay, well, identify, there's an assessment from this website, beacharacter.org. It's not like the strengths finder from whatever that is. This is the character strengths, be a character strength. You do this, it's free. You get this report, It's free. It's a PDF, tells you your top 5, gives you descriptions of what they are and all that stuff. And what they do, and when I was doing the life coaching, that was the very first thing they had us do. And they said, okay, learn what your 5 strengths are, understand them, know them. So when you work with people, use those strengths because it will help the patient, the client. But also, the first thing we had clients do before, like they would meet with me and say, hey, I want to work with you. I was like, okay, you do this assessment and then give me the report before we have our first session. I can help you faster. I can help you accomplish your goal faster. You're going to feel better faster if you use these signature strengths on a regular basis. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you out. So, using our strengths, and there could be other strengths besides character strengths, but too many times we focus on our weakness, and we do have weaknesses, and we have problems, and we have difficulties. But if we use our strengths to uplift those weaknesses, it's a lot easier. If you're feeling sad and down, wouldn't you rather get back to feeling good faster? Heck yeah. So why not use a tool that's free and easy to access? And there's lots of videos on that stuff. My students, we talk about it in class. But those of you who are not, there's lots of stuff, information out there just on this website. You can learn a lot about these trends and you're like, okay, and even if you just focus on the 1, 2, 3 top ones. Like, well, how can I use this on a regular basis? And there's a positive psych person out there, Dr. Laurie Santos at Yale, who teaches positive psych class, says, if you don't want to take the test, just look at them and say, which ones feel really authentic to me? And you look at it, you could probably be pretty good at getting 3 or 4 of your top 5. Time's up. I did. So you could probably figure it out, but if you want to do it the validated way, you take the assessment stuff, and then you're like, anytime you want to tackle a task, homework assignment, project, a partner, a relationship, using your strengths will help enhance that relationship, enhance the goal, help it become reality faster. And you'll feel fun. So why not? All right, the last lesson. Meaning. The anchor of meanings. We have a couple of slides on meaning. And when positive psychology first came out, a lot of people thought it was happyology. And around 1998, 99, 2000. And they're like, yeah, it's just about happiness. It's just about happiness. Yeah, someone's sick. That's okay. I'll be happy anyway. But it's not about that. There's more to life than just happiness, more than silly happiness, fun, pleasures in life. If we truly want to live the good life, we need to find meaning in our life. We got to have a purpose. And this one psychologist, Emily Esfahani Smith, studied, she went to Penn in the Best Applied Positive Psychology program, getting her doctorate degree, or has it. And she's like, there's more to life than happiness. And what helps people live their good life is finding meaning in life. And she came up with these 4 pillars. Belonging, which is, hey, that's going back to the connecting. Having a purpose in life. What is your purpose in life? I tell them, my gosh, your purpose is to get as great as possible right now. Get that degree. When you get that degree, that's going to give you meaning. It's very meaningful to get that degree. So your focus should be doing everything you can to get the best grades as possible. But as we age and we grow, our purpose is going to change. Different things in life are going to give us meaning. It could be relationships. It could be your job. It could be all different types of things. But everything, it's going to change throughout life. But we got to figure out what is our purpose. The transcendence part is kind of a blend of getting into flow and spirituality. And we need, again, we talked about flow already. The spirituality is more than just religion. Spirituality is connecting with something greater than yourself. And it could be as simple as, meditating. Could be as simple as going outside and enjoying the beauty out there of this earth. There's lots of different things that you could do with that could become spiritual for you. It could be getting lost in music and all that kind of stuff. And then the last part of it is storytelling, which we talked about with Russell. And it's like things happen, but we need to change it from it happening to you to, like you said, happening for you. And I need to change the story. Like things are going to happen. I'm not going to be. I may have this plan of this perfect life, but we know perfect lives don't happen. Lives aren't. Change the story. What's the narrative? Don't get lost in the negative. Address the negative. Why did this happen? How can I make it better? What can I do to live my better life, live my good life? Okay. So they also found in research that those people who have personally meaningful intrinsic goals are happier, satisfied with life, as opposed to extrinsic goals. I want X amount of money per year. I want this certain house. I want this certain car. I want these certain clothes, fame, fortune. When you're looking at fame and fortune and materialistic things, that leads to depression, leads to anxiety. When you have personally meaningful goals, it leads to life satisfaction, less depression, less anxiety. So we need to always have something, some kind of goal that we're working for. I don't care if it's grades. I don't care if it's the next chapter of life. I don't care what it is. We need to have something to be working towards, because when we achieve these things, that helps us become happy and live our good life. That goal thing, this personally meaningful goal thing, goes back to all the way at the beginning of the slides when I said, what is your good life? Doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 80. You still need to figure out how do you want your life to go? Setting meaningful goals is important. And then work, because many people here do work now. Most of you all are going to be working at some point. Some people are done working. Some people are retired. Some of us will. But when it comes to work, I can guarantee you that meaningful work, makes a huge difference in your life. I don't know if I would be as happy as I am if I didn't have this job. If I didn't have this career. If I didn't have this vocation. This now is part of my good life. Because the latest report from Gallup just came out this week saying that only 31% of people out there are engaged at work, which means they like what they do. They feel like they're getting fairly compensated for it, and they feel like they're appreciated. Only 31%. That means 69% of people out there do not like what they're doing. So they're stressed. Sunday night, they're like, oh shit, tomorrow's Monday. Monday morning comes, they're like, oh my God, is it Friday yet? Whereas, I did. Last slide. Whereas my wife can attest, the first day of the semester, what time am I up in the morning?
You don't.
Well, for you.
Yeah.
I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to go. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so amped to get back to working with these awesome people. Spreading the message of positive psychology, talking about the good life, helping people, hopefully helping people change their life for the good. And I get paid for it. This is pretty awesome. I can say this now because I'm retiring. I would do this for nothing. She only made more money. I would do this. I mean, it's very rewarding. You all need, and I tell the students, you're going to be doing this for 40 years. Whatever if you're not excited about your major, you're not gonna be excited about your career. If you're not getting involved in your major, the clubs, organizations, activities, all that stuff, you're probably not in the right field. You may be, but you're probably not in the right field. Because you're gonna be doing this 8, 9, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 years. And you want to be stressed out every day? No. I want to go to work and be like, yes, I'm going. I'm ready. Let's do it. Like I said, Monday, I was bummed the classes were canceled. This is what you all need. You need, those of you who have time, you need to find, and the Japanese call it ikigai, your reason for being. And it's when you combine all these things here and you have a purpose, you have a cause, have an expertise, and you need to get paid for it. Now, this talks about work as your ikigai, but you can do it outside of work. Not everybody that works has to have their ikigai as part of their life. It could be the positive relationships. It could be having a purpose outside of work. It could be having those connections outside of work. But we need to figure out what it is that's going to make us happy on a regular basis. And we got to be passionate about it. We got to be passionate about life. Yeah, live life. Live life to the fullest. I leave you with this. I'm getting done on time. Take care of your 90%. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. How are you going to react to this? How are you going to react to what? How are you going to react to these events? Yes, it's okay to get knocked back and be like, oh, shit. That's not what I planned. But then you go like, okay. And it could be, everybody's going to be different. It could be an hour later, it could be a day later, it could be a week later, a month later. And you're like, all right, how am I going to figure my way around this? How am I going to overcome this obstacle? I need to overcome this obstacle. That's the 90%. That's how we get to live a good life. Because there are going to be challenges in life, and we are resilient. We need to bounce back. So I give you this thing, and I put it in bold. It's like one of the only things in bold here. Decide what your good life is at this point in your life, and over the next 24 hours, write down one step you're going to take. Because if you don't write it down, you're just going to forget about it and push it off. Be like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Write down your goals. Write down your plans. And put it somewhere you're going to see it. And take that step. Take that next step to accomplish that task. Lastly, hey gang, because I am leaving in 2 months. If you want to stay connected, you can scan that. It takes you to my website there. Has all their, oh, look at this. Has my personal email on that page, has other resources for me, social media, all those types of things where you can stay connected. And like I said, you know, once you're part of my world, then you're always part of my world. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 10 days from now, want to reach out? Reach out.